Hi, how's it going? Welcome back to SuperCard Models. Today what I'm going to be doing is finishing up the engine and transmission build completely. So if you didn't see where we got up to last week, just check out last week's video. Basically what I have to do today is build the valve covers, which includes the coil pack assemblies, and also I have to build the airbox, which includes the throttle bodies. So let's get stuck in, finish up the engine and transmission, and get it into the Gallardo. Alright, so to pick up where the last video left off, I'm going to start by preparing some parts which I'll need to add to the outside of the intake manifold. These parts are all cut from 210 GSM light card, and I'll spend some time folding them up first. Then they'll be ready to be fitted. These details will glue onto the larger parts I was folding up just a minute ago. Here's one of the finished assemblies, and I've made two that are exactly the same. Now I can glue each one of those to each side of the intake manifold. Now I'm going to put the two valve covers together. And I've cut out all the parts and kept them together in a bag to keep them safe until I was ready to assemble them. I've got two sets of identical but mirrored parts here, and I want to make sure I don't get the parts for the left valve cover mixed up with the parts for the right valve cover. So I'll just take a few minutes to organise everything. So I just spent a fair amount of time gluing a strip of SuperCard all the way around the edge of the top one. And you can see how much nicer that looks compared to the bottom one, which doesn't have the edge strip fitted yet. And now here are both valve covers with the edges finished off. It takes ages to finish off the edges of the foam board parts like this, but I reckon it's worth it. Next, I'll assemble the coil packs and ignition leads. These foam board parts will be the tops of the coil packs. I'll attach them to some cut-offs of foam board with blue tack, just to hold them down while I give them a coat of black paint. And as usual, I'm using Tamiya acrylic paint. It just lays down so nice and it dries so fast, and it's just great to work with. The next pieces I'm going to add are cut from a length of black plastic drinking straw. I'll cut it lengthways, and then I'll cut each piece lengthways again, to end up with this. The drinking straw is made from a particular type of plastic called polythene, which regular superglue won't stick to, so I'll use Sally's all plastic fix glue. It has a two-part composition, so first I need to use a primer pen on the surface I'm gluing to, and then I apply the actual glue. That should hold the drinking straw parts on pretty securely. Here's one of the two finished coil packs and ignition lead assemblies. I can glue both of them to the valve covers now.
Do I wanna try? Can I let it go? Running from the past, wanting to be sure. Chaos in my mind, constant deja vu. But every time, it comes back to you.
And here are the completed valve covers. Let's fit them to the engine. So I've built two large slots to the rear side, and they correspond to two tabs I built into the engine's foundation assembly. The final detail in the valve covers is to glue the end of the ignition lead piece down out of the way behind the timing gear cover on each side. So that's both the valve covers with their corresponding coil packs and ignition assemblies all done. The very last component to assemble are the airboxes, which sit on top of the engine, or on top of the inlet manifold. The main body of each airbox is made from 5mm thick foam core board. I need to shape these pieces a bit first, and what I've done is mark the profile I want to cut this piece to carefully on the top side with my craft knife, using a printout from my Illustrator file as a guide. Now I'm going to extend the blade of my craft knife all the way out and carefully cut the foam board to the right profile like this. And after the shaping is done, I can carry on with the airbox assembly. Just like I did with the valve covers, I'll finish gluing a strip of light card all the way around the outside of the foam board edges to make them look a whole lot tidier. This process is really time consuming, but it looks so much nicer than if I don't. This is the base of the airbox assembly. The Lamborghini logo and details, which glue to the top of the airbox, have been cut out using my automated cutting machine. I'll lay the parts out over the top of a printout from my Illustrator file first, so that I'm sure I know I'll put each piece in the correct location. It's a bit hard to see, but I've got some small marks on the top of each gearbox as a positioning guide for the logo. The silver details are all cut from 285 GSM silver metallic card. I can use my small metal ruler to carefully nudge the card strips back into shape after I've glued them on. Sometimes when I lay them down, they're kind of a bit crooked and a bit bent or on a slight angle or something, and I can just push them back into shape and make them straight with my ruler. So that's the main assembly of the airbox complete. All that's left to do now is assemble and fit the two throttle bodies. Nice, so that's the airbox and the throttle body is all done, and they turned out great. Just like the valve covers, the airbox attaches to the engine assembly with slots and tabs. So there are 4 slots on the lower side of the airbox, which correspond to 4 tabs on top of the intake manifold. And there we go, 5 months of work, 704 pieces later, and the engine and transmission is complete. I think it turned out really, really good. It's kind of a piece of art or sculpture just kind of by itself, I reckon, eh? Now I just hope it fits into the car. Let's find out. Sweet, so it shoehorns into place just like in the real car. And thankfully my measurements are all correct and the fit is almost perfect. So it was actually incredibly satisfying to finally see the finished engine sitting in the engine bay. So there we go, that's the engine and transmission completely finished and built and put in the car. I'm really happy with how it turned out. Yeah, so basically next week's video will be the last, or like the very, very final video of the Gallardo build series, which is awesome. I've just got like a few components to build and fit to the engine bay, and it'll be all done. So yeah, make sure you check that out. Yeah, I've been waiting for ages to like finish up this Gallardo build series from all the archive footage that I had from when I built it. But I promised myself that I wouldn't start the next build until I'd got these videos all done and edited and uploaded. So yeah, awesome stuff. Yeah, if you've got any questions about what I'm doing here, send me an email to matt@supercardmodels.com. Yeah, or DM me on Instagram or leave a comment below. That would be great. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one, and thanks for watching.